it really makes you understand how incredible women are. We are an absolute miracle on our own that our body can do this. It is magic. It is divine design, this body that we have.
What's been the most surprising, challenging thing for you in these first few weeks?
Oh, gosh, probably all of it because it's so new. In that first week, I was emotional every day in a good way, emotional, happy tears, but I couldn't look at Zane and tell him I loved him without weeping. And I was like, oh my gosh, am I okay? And being assured that it was, that's absolutely normal. I think it's always shocking, even though people warn you how quickly they grow, that newborn stage truly only lasts for maybe the first 2 weeks and then they start turning into a baby. But I think probably the most shocking thing is you go into this as a first-time mum and you're like, what if I don't know what to do? What if I don't have an instinct? What if I do it all wrong? What if I drop him? What if you have all these insane, irrational fears, and then you get to it and instinct kicks in and you have this baby that is a part of you in your arms and you just somehow know what to do. And for those moments that I haven't known what to do, I'm so grateful for Bri, who has been just an absolutely beautiful support, and watching him be a father has been wonderful.
What was it like holding him for the very first time?
Oh, I cried. So I had this fear, I had the epidural, they'd been trying Pitocin. I was feeling a little bit outside of my body on that table, and I was so worried that I wasn't going to feel present for it. But the minute he came out and I saw him, there was no other thing in the world. There was complete clarity. There was just him. We did skin on skin straight away. They put him on my chest, and I cried. I could cry now talking about it. I cried. And Bri was right there with me, next to me, and his little hand was gripping my shoulder, and he was so alert in his eyes and looking at me. And I swear he was lifting his head a little bit too, which is crazy. He's a newborn. It was just the most unbelievable thing. And there are no real words that can describe it properly other than it being pure magic.
How is breastfeeding going for you? I mean, I know for me, when I first started breastfeeding my daughter, it was a challenge. That was probably harder for me than birth. It was really difficult for me, and it really put me through an emotional roller coaster. So, I mean, how has it been for you? Has it been a challenge? Has it been easier than you thought it was going to be?
I have been very, very lucky. I know many women struggle with breastfeeding. From the minute we got from the delivery room to the recovery room, within that first hour, I asked the nurse, I was like, should I breastfeed him? And she said, well, yeah, absolutely, let's try. And this kid was like a shark attack, just like, I found it and got on it. And then I was like, okay. And the wonderful nurses at Cedars were able to help me with getting a good latch and the way to do it. They were really gentle and wonderful. I've heard horror stories of people saying, just shove the baby on, and that's really not great for mum or baby. So I'm really, really grateful for them and the wonderful education I had with it. And he latches easily. I haven't had pain. I pump probably about 18 ounces of breast milk a day. And
yeah, that's great.
So I'm incredibly grateful for that because I know, and I've had friends that have struggled with it too. But a very good friend of mine makes me her breast milk cookies, Kennedy. She makes me her breast milk cookies, and I think they might be the secret.
I love that. I love that so much. What kind of surprised you the most about postpartum life, and what's been the biggest adjustment? I don't know if you have had hair falling out already. If that's happened to you at all? Any surprising things?
I haven't had hair falling out yet. I don't know. It's, who knows? It could surprise me. I've been very lucky with that. But genuinely, what surprises me the most is you have this major abdominal surgery that if it was any other surgery, you would be taken care of by multiple people and laying down for weeks. But they give you this baby and they're like, good luck. It's like, what do you mean? You're wearing a diaper? You can't pee. You can't do anything for yourself. And you kind of go, what do you mean good luck? And it's that emotional, physical, and mental adjustment of, okay, I can do this. C-section recovery is so intense. As fit and strong as I am, it makes no difference. I'm the same as everyone else. I have been split wide open in a sense, not a medical term, obviously, but there's a lot that happens in my body. I could not get out of bed without having to wrap my hands around the sheets and use my arms because I couldn't use my core. I couldn't shift myself to get in the right position for breastfeeding. I had to have help with everything. The pain, the unbelievable pain that you're feeling when your uterus contracts to go back to normal size and that cramping. Honestly, recovery for me was way harder than birth. The hardest part about birth was the mental switch of this is what's happening. The recovery from a C-section, and I'm lucky. By 2 weeks, I'm up, I'm moving, I'm walking around. I've dropped a lot of the weight and water weight. I'm a rare case, I think. From the stories I hear of women with C-sections, they could be 2 months out and still experiencing an unbelievable pain with their healing. My one complication, a major one that I had, is my scar has bubbled a little from a reaction to the tape. So I have been very lucky, but it's surprising. To answer your question more directly, it's shocking how your body can go from where it just expanded to and moved to, and on its own without doing anything other than allowing it to do it, it goes back on itself and it pieces itself back together. And it really makes you understand how incredible women are. We are an absolute miracle on our own that our body can do this. It is magic. It is divine design, this body that we have.
Is there one piece of advice that you wish you knew before you had your baby?
Oh, gosh. You know what? This is kind of silly in that sense, but I wanted to do newborn photos and I didn't realize how quickly they grow out of that newborn stage. Mm-hmm. So Zane was, I think, 14 days old when we did them, which made it a little more difficult to get him to just sleep in those swaddles and do them. Mm-hmm. So it's to really not underestimate how quickly they're going to grow out of that stage. And as much as it got delayed for me because recovery was so intense, so my thought process wasn't there. But going into it, because you have no idea which way your birth story is going to go, truly you can have a plan, it may change. Do all the plans before you get to to the day of birth. Make sure that you have everything set up and done as much as you can. I wish that I had planned those newborn photos a little earlier. We still got magical ones. They're going to be amazing and I can't wait to see them. But I underestimated how quickly that stage goes. And I think the other piece of advice that I realized is be okay with setting boundaries for people coming over and seeing him, and even people with the best of intentions that want to just help. Sometimes you feel like you just want your space with your person that you're raising that baby with, and be okay with saying no to people, seeing that baby and getting time with them, because it truly is time that you'll never get back. So have that just for you in whatever way you want it. I think it's really important for mums to know that it's okay to say no to people.